Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. It's good to have you here. Chairman of the Non-State Actors Recreation Commission, Martin. On the left, far left, is Reverend Michael Steen, President of the International Gathering for Peace and Human Rights. Next to him is Mr. David Hines, and he is chairman of
WD Production plus
WD Production and specialist in event planning. On the right is Reverend Thelma Gilbert, and she is representing the Society for the Resettlement of Caribbean Nationals. She has a particular interest in race relations. And then we have on the far right Mr. Quazim Seeley, and he is representing and is the founder of the Institute of Metaphysics and also training council health issues. My name is Reverend Laria, and primarily we are here to, each one of us will briefly give a little information about our organization so that everyone have a good idea of what we are about before we make the closing remark of why we have assembled here today. Mr. Chair?
Well, let's start. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for making it possible to be here with us. We have to give recognition and effort for the work done by each and every one, especially the work by the Larry. He's done a tremendous job keeping the mission going that we've been going back for almost 30 years now. And I'm particularly excited for us because a lot of the things that we have agitated for and presented on the table are here right now, are now happening. For example, I don't know, I'm pretty sure that most of you saw the video event in Africa. And even though it was done several years ago, it was right on time with what was done, immediately. It was just right in time and just in time. But before I make my comments, I'm going to start with David Hines, and he'll tell you a little bit about what his organization is.
Well, we look at the development in terms of mostly the entertainment, this new dispensation, this new order, in terms of we've structured over the years and been able to prepare for the country a professional status in terms of stage and lighting, sound, and technology, all the things that you find abroad in order to make an event possible. And but we don't look at an event and say an event concerned to motivate or educate or develop a system of people and transform them from one level of awareness to a different level. So the events are not a difficult process, but based on what Larry and the others are going to do or even before, is to do more wholesome events, not events in terms of show, but events in terms of education and development for the youth in particular. And at the same time, the majority of the things that are planned are based on healing in terms of the perception of the changing of thinking people who we want to see. In other words, in order to get the country on foot, I think from our perspective is to prepare wholesome events or things that can make a difference for change. Anything else requires discussion, but that is the basic topic. Wholesome development program. It's hard to say, yeah, you channel the kind of effect on function or fire or various abundant disease. Yes, that's an event or wedding, for example. But those things are costly but for different levels because the business acumen in terms of trying to see what we can do with dollar figures, how much money we can make from the show. But from this perspective, it's not yet what the money from the show. It's where in the direction that the ideology is towards the sunset and champion.
Good evening. Good evening again to members in the panel. My name, as mentioned, is Reverend Michael Steele, and I'm the president of the International Gathering for Peace and Human Rights. I've just successfully passed through the stage of being the General Secretary for the Worldwide International Gathering for Peace and Human Rights, which staged a successful event in Nigeria, Africa. And as an offshoot of that, Barbados has been awarded for 2015 the next country, or island we should say, that is going to host the International Gathering for Peace and Human Rights. That's in 2015. And also mentioned, Barbados has recently been awarded the City of Peace. Now, my section and what I do is I work towards embracing peace within the community, within the society, and among individuals internationally on a global scope. And what we're going to be doing with the International Gathering for Peace and Human Rights is we'll be bringing individuals from around the Caribbean and also internationally outside of the Caribbean. We're responsible for the Caribbean and Central America region. And we're going to be dealing with bringing individuals from all over here in 2015 to promote peace and human rights and also tolerance. Right now, I'm also working as the president for Hope Transplant Ministries with ex-offenders in a program called Rehabilitation of Ex-Offenders, all structured within the confines of bringing about peace within the society, community, and on a whole global scope. Thank you.
Okay, peace and blessings. Anouk Hossain. I am Hossain. I'm the founder of the Anu Institute for Human Development. Anu is a Kemetic word. It means one that is resurrected. It means to resurrect the divinity within yourself, the God essence within oneself, so that one can go from a dead horizontal to living perpendicular, going from a level to a vertical as opposed to one level to another one. I run programs in Barbados for human growth and development. I do counseling, and a lot of it also involves metaphysics, the study of oneself, study groups that focuses a lot on self-development as a key for community development. I do counseling, as I said, and I have a calendar. It's the African Heritage Calendar, and there's a festival that I'm starting in Easter of next year. It's the African First Fruits Harvest Celebration, and it focuses a lot on the indigenous first fruits celebration. Ultimately, it's about becoming at peace with oneself before you can get peace within your family, within your community, within your nation, within the race, within the whole humane family. So basically, it is about love and teaching how to become like the Nature, the one divinity, and all that exists.
My name is Reverend Heather Barnett. I'm the pastor of an organization called Messengers for Christ, as I was part of an organization too that deals with returning nationals. And what our role is really to get returning nationals to be more useful within the community, because we came in and sometimes you're being seen as visitors or outcasts and not part of the community. many of the returning nationals are able to make some meaningful contribution. But as you said, sometimes we meet these oppositions, which creates the conflicts and which creates people just to back off and not go forward. I too work within the criminal justice system in England and had to deal with persons returning out of the system. So my passion is to really and truly educate the young people, first about the history, since I deal a lot with race relations, and secondly, when you get to know yourself, you're able to manage some of the aggravation that cause you to end up in systems that you need not be in. So that is, I think we're all interrelated with the work that we do, and I feel that with the energies that is pouring out, we could make this society a better place, especially for the young people.
What we have done as part of bringing enlightenment is that we have managed to get the civil society equivalent of the United Nations. It is called the World Social Forum. So the General Assembly of the World Social Forum has recently acknowledged the 12th of October as International Reparations Day, or International Day for Reparations. And that is a great achievement. The government of Barbados has been asked for many years to put a resolution to the United Nations for the 12th of October to be a day of truth, justice, peace, healing, and reconciliation. The government has not done it yet, but the civil society has moved thus far. What we have also managed to do, as we mentioned earlier by Reverend Steele, we have managed to get what is called the International Cities of Peace. It's an organization which are establishing cities of peace all around the world. We have managed to get them to accept Barbados' capital city, Bridgetown, as a city of peace. And that has been established this year, and also the 12th of October as an International Reparation Day will be celebrated around the world from the civil society from October to 12 this year. And obviously, we have identified Bridgetown back here as a capital city of peace. And on Sunday, the 21st of September, in our states, we are launching Bridgetown as a city of peace in the context of the International Day of Peace, with a peace feast. And what we're going to be doing is having, after this event, each year we will have non-state actors, Bridgetown, Barbados, City of Peace, Community Pot for Peace, or Peace Pot, where we will be having, going into the community with the support of all the organizations here, engaging the different communities on peace and peace instead of violently opposing. The time has come for healing. Make love, not war. Free yourself from the pain, the shame, the anger, the fear, and the self-hatred. And my final contribution is this. Barbados has now reached its lowest point, the point where a 2-year-old child has been witness to his father being slain by a gunshot. That is the lowest you can get. But remember, we as a people have witnessed, our children have been witnessing the parents being slain and being brutalized for years. And finally, we have now heard that the same-sex marriage is knocking at the doors of Barbados. That means that we have also reached the lowest denominator in moral decline. And that is why this group have come together and said, look, we have to rescue Barbados, or we have to be in the leadership of rescuing Barbados, and by extension, the Caribbean, because if Bridgetown is a capital city of peace, it means we are working towards making the Caribbean a zone of peace.
Excellent. Look, there's the non-state actors group, the civil society group made up of all these different organizations. Each one of these individuals have done tremendous work over the years, and we decided to form the synergy, and as the Reverend said, to move Barbados. And Barbados has always been a leader in the region. They played a pivotal part in the slave. In fact, we could probably argue that before Barbados it might have been less slave, because there were no slaves until they came to Barbados. Barbados was the camp for the making of the slave. So therefore, it stands to reason that Barbados must also take the lead to provide the antidote and the formula to change every single thing. As the Reverend said, we cannot continue to look for what we call a so-called government to look to do everything. The power lies within the people who have to make the change. I am the founder of a group called the Caribbean Diaspora, probably for the last 15, 20 years in the United States. We have chapters in California, New York, Boston, Washington, and a very large chapter in Toronto. In fact, every year I host a Christmas party in Toronto and New York for the last 13, 14 years. Now, these folks, in my mind, represent the economic base which we as a people need to move forward, because it's all about economics today. We have finished the age of the agriculture. Then we have the industrial revolution, where the people move from the south to the sea and start moving. But now today, for the first time, we're into the technological revolution. What that means, it gives us now a connection for our people to meet instantly from all areas of the globe. And that is very powerful. It is important that we understand that. So, I am focused on repairing the damage, doing the healing, but there must be an economic factor to it. And that is my focus. I think I'm positioned, not only because of my background in training, but for the people in the area associated with me to understand that. And one of my basic interpretations is this. A lot of the leaders in Caribbean talking about, they're looking for money. There is no money in this. There is no money. Look at Spain, look at Portugal, look at France, look at Germany. So I don't think that there's no pocket of money anywhere. But what we have to understand, we have to make a new treaty and a new understanding. That is, from here forward, you're going to deal with the perspective, not the retrospective. That you can't go back. You can't undo that damage in how you read. So therefore, we have to make sure that never in our history that we're put in a position like that. So therefore, we have to create new formulas. And here in Barbados, we're not seeing those formulas. What we're seeing is couple things. One, our young people, you probably saw that people in India say that we have to decriminalize the marijuana. You know, it's a kind of two-faced approach where you have the United States, one of the leaders that sent agencies down here to corral and rubber our people and put them in jail. Put them in a prison society which is almost as horrible as the slave camp. Now, when you put these young people in prison, and they now return to society, well, Reverend, your Barney can tell you, it's a struggle to get these people, if you ever can, to get them to come back in a normal form of society because of the power, the trauma that the 2-year-old went through. Speak to him 30 years from now, follow him 30 years from now, and see the effect of that. Okay. So therefore, when you criminalize our young people, you're shooting yourself in the foot because you're destroying your future. These are the people that know should be taking over properties and land. But instead you're giving it to all the other races. So you're forcing our people back into slavery. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. We have to put an end to that and forget about the government. Because that's not what they're there about. Any government, any party, like a party, it's the government. DLP, BLP, CDP, no. We the people, in fact, we the ones that make the decisions all along, even for the government. But These are some things we're talking about. I am based in Los Angeles. I'm doing some stuff, hopefully some major stuff, which I will release here in the Caribbean. Not in Barbados, but in the Caribbean, because there's some other leaders in the Caribbean that understand. Somehow we in Barbados, we have to understand why this was the gap for the making of the slave. So therefore we here, regular, are the most damaged. We are the most damaged. So when you're going to be given a service, freedom and the mental reparation or the mental reformation of your people, you are given that because you have prolonged and perfected the program and the agenda of the slave masters. And we need to understand that. So you can't give me the sir. Any one of us that try to promote our own agenda are called racist. And we're called all kinds of things. We're ostracized. So the Non-State Actors Reparation Commission is about freeing her from mental slavery, getting them to understand who they are, where they come from, and how to protect our legacy. So thank you. The Secretary has done a tremendous job. I think we're almost there. So we should be able to release some programs, but there is a gathering on October 3rd. We've got to make sure that something happens. If you've been following the reports from the RED, there are a few things we were seeking some financing. October 1st is just a few weeks. But even if we did receive a letter from the Prime Minister's office and we can't use the residents. So you must find another agenda, and even if it's a smaller payment, we should do that. And I would say probably in a few months we should be able to provide our own financing to do that. So it doesn't have to be, it would be good on October 12th, but you can still do it later for October 12th.
On Sunday the 21st, we will be showing a lecture in the documentary by Sir Hilary Beckles, who have done an excellent job in presenting the facts, historical facts, of why we are in the present situation that we are in, and what the concept of reparation, what the concept of reparation means. That will be done at the Boystein's Beer Garden on Sunday the 21st, from 4 o'clock, yes, from 4 o'clock to 8:30. Where we're going to have a feast where we will gather the community, all the different residents, different clubs, different organizations, the churches we are inviting to come to Oyster and be part of that. All the business in Oyster have been asked to participate so that it is a social gathering of all concerned. Yes? And we will sit down and we will watch the DVD and then discuss what the DVD has taught us.
I would say I would say let's get this something. Let's stay for the next one.
Okay, I would appreciate that because as chair of the entertainment, but I'm very pleased with that the chair who is going to leave tomorrow has now agreed that because of that amount of activity, it would be good for him to be there as chair.